On the Lunchroom on RCI, Monday to Friday, 12:45 to 2 p.m. The Lunchroom, informative, enlightening, provocative, engaging. The Lunchroom on RCI, food for thought. The station that gives you, more lunch.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchroom on Radio Caribbean International. It's Thursday, the 4th of July, 2024. This is program number 1207 of the Lunchroom. I'm your host, Kenneth George Jr. And in addition to 101.1 FM radio, you can also get us at our website, rcistlucia.com. You can also download our previous shows on that platform. It's in our MP3 form. You can also get us live on Facebook. Just search for the official page of Radio Caribbean International. You can get our lunchroom link on right now. Of course, please be sure to like and share that as well with your friends and family. The number to call in to tell us what's on your plate today, it is 452-3046. Again, 452-3046. You can also message in on WhatsApp. That is 724-0008. You can call in on that number if you so choose as well, especially if you're overseas. Again, that number is 724-0008. Today, in just a bit, we're going to be, for our dish of the day, we're going to be discussing another promotion by Republic Bank Eastern Caribbean Limited, and it's called Pick Your Rate. And we're going to be discussing that in just a bit. But first, birthday greetings for today, going out to Mr. Clive Hippolyte, Engineer Clive Hippolyte. Happy birthday to you, sir, and we do hope that you're having a fantastic birthday celebration. History for today, well, in the year 1776, the United States Congress proclaimed the Declaration of Independence and independence from Great Britain. Of course, the Independence Day over in the United States of America. 1803, on this day, the Louisiana Purchase was announced to the American people by President Thomas Jefferson. 1934, on this day, saw Hungarian physicist Leo Szilard patenting the chain reaction design for the atomic bomb. And in 2017, on this day, North Korea tested and fired its first successful intercontinental ballistic missile into the Sea of Japan. We now move on to our dish of the day. The Daily Dish is brought to you the kind compliments of our good friends at Tiles Plus.
One tiles for your home, I see. Bathroom, kitchen, pantry. Need tiles for your balcony. Come down to Tiles Plus, satisfaction guarantee. Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus. Big tiles with unbeatable cost. Customer service, A+. Need all kind of tiles. Come down to Tiles Plus. We also got gasway and vanity. Books, doors, you'll see. Come down to mind nobody. We got the best tiles on island. Trust me. We are located Land Street in Castries, Bosses Jubilee Lanes, and Slack Street in Beaufort. Telephone number 453-7939. Tiles Plus.
Serving now, the Daily Dish.
And welcome back to our program for today. Of course, happy 4th of July to all American citizens out there as they celebrate Independence Day today. Monday, in fact, while we were under our tropical storm watch for Beryl, was actually also Canada Day, so we didn't actually get to send independence wishes to Canadians as well. So we can perhaps do that at this time once we're, of course, sending greetings to all those who are celebrating their Independence Day. Now, we're going to switch gears a little bit and, of course, speak to the matter of financing. And, of course, right now you can well appreciate that maybe some people out there thinking about making an investment. Thankfully, people are not necessarily having to make investments in new roofs right about now. We were a bit of a spared that in that regard, at least here in St. Lucia, not in other places. But of course, Republic Bank across the Eastern Caribbean is here in that regard. And they've got a new promotion. It's called the Pick Your Rate loan. And to tell us about that is a personal banking officer, Mr. Yannick John of Republic Bank Eastern Caribbean Limited. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you so much, Alex.
Now, we've heard quite a bit about many of your promotions in terms of individuals who may want to, uh, through a Make It Happen loan portfolio. We've heard quite a bit about that. We've heard about the offerings for mortgages. We've heard about offerings for people who want to invest in solar and renewables. But tell us, pick your rate. That's a really interesting one, which people wouldn't necessarily think that a bank would actually even allow their customers to do. Pick your rate.
Exactly. So it's a novel idea that we introduced in June. So as is customary, we normally roll out our campaigns during the back to school season. We're talking about end of June, beginning of July, and Republic Bank is excited to announce our latest campaign, which is of course Pick Your Rate. So this campaign essentially is it's all about giving customers um, the opportunity to essentially pick from an assortment of different rates, and we would essentially discount our current board rates by that. So, I mean, of course, we want to engage customers because we realize as a financial institution, right, we want to elevate and we want to inspire. We provide elevation and inspiration. So we want to help customers achieve their financial goals through the products, the tailored products that we provide to fit their specific financial needs. But in addition, we realize that solutions on the whole, the market, they are people of passion, of rhythm. So we want to inspire. So to inspire them, we are introducing this what we believe to be very fun and a very engaging program whereby we will have customers to essentially come into the branch and upon them fulfilling the initial application for the loan, we would have them to dip into the box, for example, and whatever that they pull out is what they would use moving forward as the interest rate on the loan. Okay. This campaign, it started in June, but it is running up until the end of September 30th, which is the end of the fiscal. Okay. And again, like we say, it's fun, it's interactive. So we don't want to be very generic, the very, how do I say, it, generic discounted rates. Hey, come along to the bank, we're providing this rate. No, we're saying, come along to us. We can tailor our products to your specific needs. And in addition to tailoring our products to your specific needs, here's what we can do for you. We are giving you the opportunity now to pick your rate, right? So anyone can participate. There is no target market. Well, the target market is Senusha on the whole. Okay. Um, so it's open to all qualified individuals. That could mean contract employees or permanently employed, right? And it's we are not geared towards any specific loan type. Okay, so we're talking about our mortgages. Are also the Pick Your Rate campaign can also apply to our mortgage products. We're talking about loans for property, for for vehicles, for education, for medical, even for just personal expenses. So we don't want customers to believe that we're essentially limited, that we're only targeting mortgages or, for example, vehicular loans that is also popular right now on the market. We are saying, come on down to Republic Bank, and we are able to provide you with whatever you need at the rate that is perfect for you and your financial needs right now. Okay, so the main benefit that we would say essentially of the Pick Your Rate campaign is that we're making it more affordable, right? And as much as we may lord over the fact that we're providing competitive rates, we can always do better. The customers will say that for sure. How can you work with me? So we're essentially working with you guys right now. And we're taking our market rate and we're essentially, again, just discounting it. So this is not a very straightforward program as just pick your rate.
Right.
We want to essentially incorporate a snowball aspect to it. So we're saying you, for example, will come for a loan and say, hey, I need to buy this vehicle right now. I heard that you guys have a Pick Your Rate campaign going on. What can you do for me? We said, sure, come along and dip with us. But in addition to such, right, you may have been thinking about getting a credit card with us. about opening an account with us. These are products that we consider actually to be part of the snowball aspect of the Pick Your Rate campaign. What do I mean by snowball? In addition to the customers dipping for the discounted rate, we are going to say, hey, if you opt in for any additional product, we are going to further discount your interest rate, right? So you are coming here to us for a loan, for example, right? You have dipped. We have already discounted your rate. You now want to, for example, you figure, I travel every so often, and I've heard about Republic Bank's Advantage card, where I'm able to accrue miles on every dollar I spend, for example, right? So we're saying, yes, we would be happy to provide you with that credit card. But just during this promotion, because you are taking this credit card along with participating in our Pick Your Rate campaign, we are going to further discount the interest rate on your loan because you opted in that second product. So we may be talking about insurance, for example, insurance on loans. We're talking about credit cards, and of course, new accounts or any additional loan that you may take with the bank, right?
So essentially, we were speaking about a twist on all your available products that
Precisely.
people can actually have. So if you want already, you may be interested in making an investment in terms of a home or renovations or purchasing land. It could be, as we mentioned earlier on, you might want to get some solar PV panels on your roof. You may be thinking about some other type of loan, maybe just for buying appliances, or maybe even a family vacation. Even, I don't know, the carnival is coming up, but whatever the case may be, a vehicle loan. So
Right.
all those are subject to potentially becoming a pick your rate loan.
Precisely.
And now you go in and you do the normal pre-qualification for whatever you're applying for, and then you can then pick that rate that you
That's
want.
right. So you would again you would apply for the normal mediums, and upon meeting the specific criteria for that loan, we then invite you again to come on over and then pick your rate again to discount your interest rate moving forward. So the pick your rate is not, we say that the pick your rate campaign is only until September 30th, but that's only for you to be eligible for the discount. That discount lasts until the entire loan term. All right. So, for example, you may be deciding to take a mortgage, like we said, to improve on your property, or even get new property altogether, a new home purchaser, right? Um, we give mortgages, for example, 30 to 40 years. We're talking about a discounted interest rate for that 30 to 40 years. And could you imagine the share savings you could experience over a 30 to 40-year period just by participating in our Pick Your Rate campaign?
So we all know, of course, that depending on what type of loan you're taking, you would normally apply a certain range of interest rates to begin with. So of course, there's already some variation depending on the loan that you're having.
Yes, of course.
So you're saying that, let's say, for instance, if I'm going out for a mortgage, and you might right now be offering, let's say, for argument's sake, 7%, you then potentially can reduce on that through the pick your rate campaign.
Exactly. So we already offer competitive rates. And through this campaign, we're saying that we are willing, not just willing, we are willing and able to further discount your rate for the entire duration of that loan.
I mean, it sounds too good to be true. I mean, would there be certain things that, I mean, let's say once you're qualified, I mean, how much would that discount be for somebody coming to a loan? Should they, so that they might get an idea as to what we're talking about?
I mean, in terms of exact percentages?
Well, not necessarily exact, but I mean, if you're saying that, it might go down by 1 percentage point, 2%, I mean, so, I mean, what are we speaking about in terms of?
Yeah, so average. So it's again, it's not a case where you know beforehand.
Mhm.
So that's a fun aspect in it, right? Where you dip and then whatever you do. So we do have percentage decreases, like we said, from 1%. We do have 1.5, for example. So that is a nominal discount, as in we don't do 1.5, for example, of the 7.5%. It's going to be 7.5 minus that 1.5%. So you're looking at 6%, for example.
Right.
If that was, of course, the rate that we were offering for
In the first
mortgages
instance, yes. Yeah, so that's really really important, especially if you're speaking about something that's as long term as a mortgage, for
right.
instance. I mean, the benefits that you're talking about over a 30-year period is pretty impressive.
It's incredible, actually. And then we would like to say, for example, those savings that would obviously accrue over that 30 to 40-year period could then be reinvested. So again, it speaks to Republic Bank's dedication to aiding our target market, which is St. Lucia, our customers, our family, to essentially achieve their financial freedom that we so desperately see the need for, right? So we are offering you again competitive rates, and we are furthering discounting that rates. So we are allowing you essentially to the payments, right? The discounted payments are going to allow you to invest, not just, for example, in the example we gave of a property, but we could use those savings and invest in something else. We want to travel. We figure we're working too hard. Every day is a 9 to 5, 9 to 8. How about I take a trip? I deserve this. I deserve this much. So we're saying that by you coming down and participating in this campaign, we're allowing you the opportunity, the freedom, the luxury of actually getting the discounted rate and using those savings towards building up yourself, building your net worth, or just taking a break from it all.
Now, Republic Bank is running this campaign up until September the 30th. So we only have really about 3 months to go to make best use of this.
Right.
How quickly can one actually go through this process, this loans process, getting that loan, maybe to do renovations, or as you mentioned, maybe child has just passed the CPEA exams. You got to get new school books and uniforms and lots of things. You may want to actually get in maybe one of those make it happen loans. How quickly can that happen?
We actually at Republic Bank, we pride ourselves on our quick turnaround times, right? So if you will, for example, to come in to see us today, um, with of course the necessary documentation, which I will mention shortly, we're looking for a response in 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours. And upon receiving that response, again, having you sign the necessary documentation and complete all the paperwork, we're looking again to provide you with the funds in under a week's time, actually. That's from you coming into us, providing your information and your needs, and that money reaching your account. A week tops.
In a week. Okay, that's really fantastic. And what kind of documentation, as you did mention, that
Of course.
individuals may
So
have to bring in?
definitely. So for the normal loan application process, what we would want is a form of primary ID. So that could be either your national ID card or your passport, for example. We would want proof of income. So we would want a job letter and two salary slips to accompany that job letter. Okay. And in addition to that, we want proof of address. We want to know where you live. So, for example, if you are living on your own, that proof of address could be a utility bill. Okay, we're talking about Flo, Lucilec, Wasco, with your physical address printed out. In the event that you are renting, for example, a lease agreement could surface as a proof of address. And in the event that, of course, you're living with someone else and the bill may be in their name, we ask that you bring the bill in the person's name. Um, just a short letter from the person just to confirm, of course, that you're living with them and a copy of their ID card. That's all that we need. And we're able to use that to process the application.
So once you've got all of those documents in place, you can actually get a response within about a day.
A day to 2 days.
A day to 2 days for that you've actually gotten that loan, and then the processing documentation stuff within a week.
Precisely. So upon receiving the response that we do have the go ahead to move forward with this particular loan for the customer, we would call you in again. Or we could always just arrange, because of course we understand that customers do have they work different schedules. For example, we have self-employed customers who may not be able to spare a day in the week at the moment to come in branch again after having come in branch already. So we're able to accommodate customers as necessary. So we invite customers to come on down to explain your situation to us, allow us to not only tailor our loan products to your specific needs, but allow us to tailor our process to fit your schedule as needed.
So once that's actually done, you've gotten that loan approved. Is that the point when you actually pick your rate? I mean, when does that come in?
That's right. So upon receiving approval, we would say, Mr. Calix, come on down. We would love for you to participate in our Pick Your Rate campaign. We would invite you to dip. And so that
So you would have
essentially,
already been approved of a loan at a certain interest rate,
exactly.
and then you
And
can
then
potentially reduce that
that
interest rate.
interest rate by whatever you pick from the Dropbox.
And so that's where the element of luck comes in, I suppose, basically
An
what you're
element
saying.
of fun too as well.
Yes, I suppose so. And I suppose what people may be asking, you can only pick once.
You can only pick once, one per customer.
That's very, very interesting indeed in terms of reductions. But you did also mention that, of course, if you take on another product from Republic Bank as part of this, you said maybe a credit card or some sort of, add-on like an insurance, whatnot, you can actually reduce the rate a little bit more. How does that work exactly? Are you
Okay.
dipping in a different box? What does
So
that entail?
you're not actually. So you only dip in once,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be the blanket discount rate applied to your current interest rate. But upon choosing a secondary product or tertiary product, even, we will say, hey, we see you are engaging our services, our products. Here is what we can do for you. So we are already going to discount your current interest rate by this amount. We are going to further discount whatever we have received after applying, right, the
Mm-hmm.
discounted rate. We are going to discount it even further by a certain percentage, can't say right now, um, of the discounted price. So
Right.
again, for the example that we would have used before, if our mortgages were 7, for example, and you picked a discounted rate of 1% or 1%, sorry, your current interest rate moving forward would be 6%. But upon you engaging with a credit card, for example, we would discount that 6% even further.
Mm-hmm.
You engage with insurance for that credit card, we discount it even further.
Mm-hmm.
You engage insurance for the loan, we discount it even further. Yes.
Yes, yes, we've got that. Now, another perhaps a question that some people may want to know out there as well: is this for only new loans? Can somebody come back and ask, well, can I refinance this under this pick your rate campaign?
They can come back to refinance. So it is not going to be applicable, sorry, to existing loans.
Mm-hmm.
But if, for example, a customer wishes to refinance a current loan,
Mm-hmm.
if they want to secure a little additional funding, they will be eligible to participate in our Pick Your Rate campaign.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Good news to know. And of course, we've been speaking to Personal Banking Officer, Republic Bank Eastern Caribbean Limited, Mr. Yannick John, and he's been telling us about this Pick Your Rate campaign, opportunities for loan financing through Republic Bank, which is on up until the September the 30th. Only about 3 months to make that happen for you. Yannick, thank you so very much for sharing with us so much information about Republic Bank's new promotion. Any parting words, anything that we may have forgotten to tell the audience?
Definitely. So some persons may be wondering, well, I'm hearing all this good stuff about Republic Bank, but where exactly is Republic Bank? So we do have 3 branches. Okay, we do have the Rodney Bay branch. We do have our Castries branch, which is on the William Peter Boulevard next to Marcy Home. And we do have a branch in Vieux-Fort. Customers, again, who are unable to visit the branches physically can give us a call at 456 2100. That's 456 2100. Or we invite customers actually to do applications online. Okay, it's very convenient. And that website is www.republicbank.ec.com. And one more time, that's www.republicbank.ec.com. So we invite everyone to try. Come on down and experience the savings. Again, it's going to end on the 30th of September. So we do have a substantial time period to partake in those savings and allow us to help you, to elevate you to where you want to be and where you need to be.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much, Mr. Yannick John, Personal Banking Officer of Republic Bank Eastern Caribbean Limited, all about their Pick Your Rate campaign. An add-on, really, to all the existing financing offerings from Republic Bank. And no doubt, I think we're doing a fantastic job. And I suppose you'll also be seeing you at PAN, for Republic Bank's
Definitely on
Panorama
Sunday.
on Sunday as well. So thanks very much, Yannick. And of course, the listeners out there, that's our dish of the day.
This has been The Daily Dish.
I hope so.
One tiles for your home, I see. Bathroom, kitchen, pantry. Need tiles for your balcony. Come down to Tiles Plus, satisfaction guarantee. Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus, Tiles Plus. Big tiles with unbeatable cost. Customer service, A plus. Need all kind of tiles. Come down to Tiles Plus. We also got gas and vanity. Books, doors, you'll see. Come down to mind nobody. We got the best tiles on island. Trust me. We are located Lance Road in Castries, Bosses Jubilee Lane, and Flag Street in Beaufort. Telephone number 453-7939.
Girl, I've been so stressed searching for the perfect tiles to complete my home.
Really?
Yeah, it's always the same white, beige, and gray tiles with these tile stores. Like they're all buying from the same place. You're the design expert. Help me, please. I'm fed up.
What are you looking for?
Something different. Something that says Caribbean beauty and suits my personality. Something vibrant and classy with a little razzle dazzle.
Okay, Ms. Razzle Dazzle, I know just the place. Island Style Tile and Bath, they're my number one store for everything tile. And with their new In Living Color collection, you'll find the most gorgeous styles to give you that splash of Caribbean flair you're looking for.
That sounds perfect.
I'll even take you myself and throw in a free design consultation.
I'll never say no to that, sis. I can't afford you anyway.
Visit our Island Style showrooms in Castries, Rodney Bay, and Viewfort, or call 450-452 or 453 Tile. We'll help bring your vision to life in living color.
This is Radio Caribbean International. It's now time for the weather news.
And also, of course, on the 1.1 is now time for your weather report as of 12 noon today, presented by Island Style Talamba. The forecast for St. Lucia Valley for the next 24 hours. The winds will be blowing from between the east, southeast, and east near 17 miles per hour or 28 kilometers per hour. The weather fair to occasionally cloudy and hazy with some scattered showers. And there is an advisory in here which reads that persons with respiratory ailments and dust allergies should take the necessary precautions due to reduced air quality. Also, small craft operators should exercise caution due to reduced visibility. The forecast for the Lesser Antilles, partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy and hazy with some scattered showers and a chance of isolated thunderstorms, mainly over the northern Lesser Antilles. The tropical weather outlook, moisture and instability trailing a tropical wave will continue to cause cloudiness, showers, and possibly thunderstorms over the northern half of the region during the forecast period. Another tropical wave located over the eastern tropical Atlantic is moving westward near 21 miles per hour or 33 kilometers per hour. Also, a plume of Saharan dust haze is expected to cause a reduction in visibility and air quality across the region during the next few days. And this was your weather report as of 12 noon today, presented by Island Style Talent Bath.
This has been RCI's Weather News. For more information, call the Weather Hotline at 454-3452. RCI 101 number 1.
Girl, I've been so stressed searching for the perfect tiles to complete my home.
Really?
Yeah, it's always the same white, beige, and gray tiles with these tile stores. Like they're all buying from the same place. You're the design expert. Help me, please. I'm fed up.
What are you looking for?
Something different. Something that says Caribbean beauty and suits my personality. Something vibrant and classy with a little razzle dazzle.
Okay, Ms. Razzle Dazzle, I know just the place. Island Style Tile and Bath, Bath, they're my number one store for everything tile. And with their new In Living Color collection, you'll find the most gorgeous styles to give you that splash of Caribbean flair you're looking for.
That sounds perfect.
I'll even take you myself and throw in a free design consultation.
I'll never say no to that, sis. I can't afford you anyway.
Visit our Island Style showrooms in Castries, Rodney Bay, and View Fort, or call 450-452 or 453 Tile. We'll help bring your vision to life in living color.
And welcome back to our program here at the Lunchroom on Radio Caribbean International. Of course, if you want to call and tell us what's on your plate today, the number to do so is 452-3046. Again, 452-3046. You can also call into our WhatsApp number. That is 724-0008. Let's go to the phone lines now. Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchroom. What's on your plate today?
Good afternoon, Mr. George.
How are you doing, sir?
Not too bad.
Wonderful.
Now, the kind of weather we're having in the West Indies right now, Union is flat down. Flat down. That is one of the
Grenadines.
St. Vincent Grenadines
Mm-hmm.
Islands. Now, we had a crop in Paris where they said they would have
Oh, the copper climate parties.
emission,
Party, sorry. Yes.
carbon emission. Okay?
Capping of carbon emissions, yes.
And then we go down to Scotland. From Scotland, we go down to Dubai. Those billions, they have millions and billions of pounds. What they're going to do about what we have in this week in the Caribbean?
Very, very good question, caller. Quite often we heard about some of these funds being set up. You've got the Green Climate Fund, you've got climate adaptation funds, and these international funds which are set up. But it's so tedious sometimes to be able to actually access these funds. Governments have to go through all sorts of different processes. They've got to get accredited to be able to borrow. And these funds take a while to come through. And even the countries that have been very active in trying to get those funds out, as perhaps all our small island developing states should be, although that's not the reality. But countries like Barbados, for instance, they went to the Green Climate Fund, and I remember for their first loan was for their water sector, and it took about 4 years for that loan, for that the financing to be approved, right? So it's a long process. So once it gets into that pipeline.
People that suffering right now take a loan, and the loan you take to improve yourself, like you was talking with the gentleman there, and they have, whatever they're giving you there. Once you don't have to pay interest on that money, is a good thing.
We understand that perhaps these donors they want to ensure that the funds are being utilized for the purposes that they are being sought for, and in fact are going to make an impact in that regard. The challenge, though, that we actually have is being able to get to that point. And I think part of it, too, it is a responsibility of our countries to be able to actually have projects that are well defined already and that could potentially meet those requirements. But the problem is, it's like you go through these various hurdles. And many times you'll find out, we need something else, and we need something else, and so you find these requirements for some of these loans can become very, very burdensome, very onerous upon small island developing states that already perhaps don't have the capacity to be able to actually access some of them. And so it's part of the big problem, especially when in dealing with
like say COP in Dubai and those big rich multi-millionaires, they said they will give so and so to say people like African, Caribbean. Mostly the Caribbean always have this bad weather. climate change weather.
Right.
Now, to get that money, because some of them, they say they offer, but the money never come through. So what's going on there?
Well, that has been our problem for quite some time, caller. I mean, you think back to Haiti and the earthquake. Was it in 2010?
Yeah.
And that's a classic example of
very classic.
Lots and lots of pledges. The world's second poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, Haiti, right? First country outside of the United States to gain its independence, right? In this hemisphere, January 1st, 1804. And the sordid history of all that has gone through, and lots of pledges, lots of promises. And at the end of the day, the tsunami of promises becomes just but a trickle, and so we and unfortunately sometimes these things don't improve. And it is really to me a significant indictment.
So can they work something, Mr. George? Like say Grenada get hit heavy, Barbados get hit, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So what about they work out something, all those countries put together and see how much it'll come up to, and put the claim together?
McCall, sometimes two things. One, there have been some efforts in terms of disaster risk insurance. So, for instance, there's a Caribbean facility, I think it's called CRIF, where effectively you get, as soon as, let's say, a weather system passes and it's over a certain wind speed and you've got damage, they will in fact make a payout regardless of, so even before you actually do a full assessment or what, they will in fact provide immediate funds, for response. Because in these situations, that's really what matters a lot. Now, you need to be able to respond very quickly. Countries as well have to be, I would say, also pretty fiscally responsible. And this comes back to the whole issue of things like your consolidated for having contingencies, ensuring that you actually have resources and also the space to borrow very quickly, right? Because quite often, as we were saying, some of these loans will take so long before you even get it. These World Bank loans. But you need immediate cash. You need to be able to respond immediately.
Definitely.
And that's where your reserves.
Those countries cannot sleep when people is outside.
So that's where
we have cyclones circle around to come back again.
And that's why reserves are important. That's why, we've been speaking about things like sovereign wealth funds, right? And that's really important. So we have to certainly do for ourselves in terms of those aspects and ensure that you actually have funds that you can in fact tap into when these emergencies come, as well as to be able to have the fiscal space to be able to go out and borrow as well, right? At whatever, terms that are reasonable. And I'm not speaking about getting, these long processes of, the Green Climate Fund, but the immediate commercial bank loans or whatever it is that you may need to raise.
What can happen in 40 years?
So you definitely need to be able to have that space to be able to do so. Now, that's really, in some instances, some of these countries have said, well, we will provide you with debt forgiveness to allow you to borrow again. That tends to be part of the approach there. But the extent of the damage, let's not, right now, we're seeing the impact on Union and Mairo and Carriacou. And in some respects, it was a blessing for Grenada and St. Vincent that they didn't get direct hits, or St. Lucia, because much larger populations on those islands. And so therefore, in very many ways, we kind of escaped in some respects, right? Because remember what happened in Grenada back in 2004? Ivan was about, the damage was over 200% of the GDP, right? So twice the
Whatever
economic
they
activity
bring in.
per year, right, was the value of the damage there, and the same for Maria and so many others. A significant, so it's a major. I mean, it literally takes decades for these islands to be able to get back just to where they were. You know, and that certainly is why we have to speak about resilience. This is definitely why we have to be thinking about designing differently, designing better, because it cannot just simply be this,
Yeah, but
continuous.
the other thing, the other way I look at it as well, when you look on country like Dubai, Saudi Arabia, they have so much money. Can they give those little islands a cheap loan to start things?
Well, I think there has been some of that going on, right? In fairness to the Arab
Well,
countries,
I talking about St. Jude. That loan in St. Jude,
right?
it wasn't bad. It's a 2% loan.
Right.
So if we
So
couldn't get
I think it again, right, and that may have to be the approach, to be able to approach these states and say, well, this is our reality right now. We really need to be able to, get assistance. And I mean, let's face it, the, the the reason why they are wealthy today is because of the hydrocarbons that are, in fact, polluting our
they are the
world right
biggest
now,
polluters of the world with
and in fact are
carbon
causing a lot
emissions.
of these issues in terms of climate change. So there is a certain level of moral responsibility, I would say, in terms of these countries. And I think even places like Saudi Arabia, they're actually thinking about, hey, a future beyond oil. Yeah. So they obviously are realizing that this cannot happen,
Yeah, they go sauna.
continuously.
A lot of
And
all they building everything going sauna.
right.
So
And
there
so
is cheap fuel they get in there, and they're selling jet fuel.
yeah. So I mean, definitely, I think in terms of perhaps trying to get support out of Saudi Arabia and the UAE. Kuwait, for instance, has been a good partner in
Kuwait
assisting.
does always try and help the best they can.
But they have I think, in fairness to these countries, they have been providing assistance of late, like we've seen with the respect to Saudi Arabia. It's not just Saint Lucia, but of course a number of other islands have been
Another country.
able to get support. I would assume that Grenada and St. Vincent would certainly have to be looking to get some support from them in trying to build back Carriacou and Union and
Yeah,
Maroon.
but
So
saying that, so where crop 21 and crop
oh,
Dubai and crop where they stand? What happened to the money they supposed to the more carbon they put in the world atmosphere is the more they're supposed to
well,
pay.
caller, let's face it, we've heard so many promises in the past about funding, all right? And the funding has almost never met its expectations, all right? The global north is really, I mean, the recommended.
Have we got people, sorry, but have we got people that really serious to shake the elbow of those people to make them fuck out?
Well, the problem that you finding, caller, is that I'm not sure that there has been a realization that, look, they are not isolated from the rest of the world, right? And I think this, even with what we're seeing right now in Europe, the Arab Spring brought on a wave of migration, right, out of the Middle East and North Africa.
Yeah.
And these individuals are heading north. They're heading to Europe because their countries are in difficult times, right? And we're seeing the response. The response of Europe is, hey, we don't want you here. Yeah, there are way too many of you. You're changing
This is like
the
Italy.
the look
They
and
said we
feel.
want help. We want help, but it seems like nobody
right. So that realization that, hey, you're not going to be, you're not be able to insulate yourself from the rest of the world in this way, and expect that your neighbor over there is burning, and there's not going to be an impact. And I think that responsibility to be able to improve the world, right, is a really serious one. Now, unfortunately, what we've seen is that the approach has been, yes, okay, colonialism is no more. Now you've moved into a neo-colonialistic arrangement where their companies are now the ones who are trying to, again, exploit and take out and reap the benefits of these very same places that were already colonized in the past.
But
And there's not that.
just imagine Britain taking the people and send them to where? Uganda or
Rwanda, yes.
Rwanda.
Yeah. So
paying million instead of leaving them in Britain, and they're already in Britain.
well, because I suppose it's a popular move, or people perceive it to be something that sounds nice in certain constituencies in the United Kingdom,
Yeah,
perhaps.
but you just don't want to say plain. You're not wanted in Britain.
Yeah, well, and so the problem is that you've got significant global crises, and I think there's this realization now. Hey, climate change is no longer just about these small island developing states. They're facing climate change too now. In Europe, in many other parts of these very same countries. So, is it going to be sufficient to realize that, hey, the talk shops of the cops, and we're going to have to be a lot more serious about sharing the wealth of the world. This situation, for instance, Africa, the world has been talking about sustainable development goals. 2030 is coming. We're only about 6 years away, and the projections are that there is a significant funding gap, right, in the trillions of dollars for Africa to be able to meet its sustainable development goals, for Africa to be able to shift away from just simply, depending on coal, and having a green industrial revolution. All of these things you want to see happen, but then how is it going to be funded, right? Is it still going to be a situation where you're still going to be trying to get exploit through companies to try to get the wealth out, and some of it has to stay in Africa.
Exactly what they will do is to exploit those countries. Whatever deal they give them, they will give them a deal which they have to break the back.
Well, I think the South, right? That these countries of the South have to they have to band together. They have to band together and ensure that they can get a fairer deal.
A lot of these African countries have oil and gas now, which they wasn't looking for, and they found it.
Yeah, they have it, but then they're not benefiting because a lot of the wealth is
arms. They're buying arms, they're buying guns, they're buying all sorts of things to kill each other. They don't have nothing good in their mind with those newfound wealth.
Well, I'm not sure that it's fair to say that but even the problem that you have in the first instance is that the companies that are coming in quite often are exploiting the situation. Right?
Yeah,
and they know how to play the game very well. So they understand, well, you know what, all we've got to do perhaps is grease a few people's hands, few of the leaders, and we can get what we want. And invariably, the mass of the population is not a net beneficiary. And unfortunately, that's, we've seen way too often leaders who are just selling out to individuals for a few trinkets, which has been our long and sordid history. It has to be that you've got leadership that is going to put the interests of the people that they represent first and foremost. And it may very well mean very difficult decisions. But of course, we do also know that there are some very powerful um, forces, external forces, that end up, manipulating the whole political situation within these countries. They create division. We've seen the assassinations of leaders. We've seen a lot of stuff that has happened, and this is happening. It's happened in the 20th century. It's still happening in the 21st century.
Well,
And so
last night I was watching Hard Talk, and it was about Guyana, and the chap that present Hard Talk, David, whatever his name,
Shaka, I think it
and
is. Yeah.
some of the thing he was bringing up. No, but there is an Indian chap, what is it, foreign secretary or whatever. But whatever he was putting to him back, I say, good man, good man, good man, because
David Saka.
all what he put in back, the chap said to him, well, we have Canada right now because Venezuela is on the back, and they bring in the Canada, they bring in America, they bring in England. Which one again? They bring in, and all those people there. If Venezuela make a move, they will have to face those countries tete-a-tete, head-to-head.
Yeah.
So, well, you think they go there for nothing, Mr. Judge?
Well, of course not. I mean, they weren't there before until the oil and gas came in, right? So that's the real interest at hand.
When things was hard in Guyana, how come they already reached there? All the big contract will go toward them.
And thanks very much for that, caller. Thanks very much for that contribution. And have yourself a good one. Good to hear your voice, indeed. And of course, we went down that the rabbit hole, I guess you could say, regarding the state of play of how things are going to be financed for small island developing states that are some of the most vulnerable countries in the world, and of course are dealing with the real impacts of climate change. Of course, Beryl, a record-setting hurricane, earliest Category 4 hurricane ever experienced in the world. And it just goes to show what we are going to be facing for the next couple of years to come. And, well, not just a couple of years, but for the new normal, in fact, if any, pretty much is what it is going to be. And perhaps a very necessary wake-up call, we may say. I mean, we've gotten so many wake-up calls over the years, but that kind of real commitment at the end of it all towards appreciating the impact of the environment, what we are doing. It's something that quite often can be forgotten, even in Europe right now, which is quite often prided itself as a leader in terms of environmental protection and renewable energy. And even there as well, I mean, even certain shifts are afoot in terms of the far right not wanting to necessarily support certain decisions, like, for instance, moving towards the adoption of electric vehicles or the banning of ICE vehicles by 2030. A lot of them are pushing back against that at this point. And so these are, of course, we saw what happened with Germany, and when there was a need to ramp up production of coal. That happened not too long ago. And so, of course, there is that level of, I guess you may want to say, pragmatism with respect to some countries sometimes, even though they make commitments towards improving the condition of the world. That's our program for today. And of course, we'll be back again tomorrow, God willing, for another one. Hope you can join us for that. I'm your host, Alex George Jr., saying goodbye.